Have you ever brushed off a strange ache or sudden dizziness thinking it was just a normal part of aging? It's easy to ignore small changes in our bodies, especially when we don't want to worry ourselves or our loved ones. But sometimes those little signs are actually big warnings. And the truth is, catching certain symptoms early could mean the difference between life and death. Today we're going to talk about 5 symptoms that you should never ignore after 70. Not to scare you, but to empower you. Because knowledge is power, and when you listen to your body, you give yourself the best chance at living a long, strong, and healthy life. Let's start with something that might seem minor at first but can be incredibly dangerous. Sudden, unexplained fatigue. We all feel tired sometimes. Maybe you didn't sleep well, or you've had a long day running errands. That kind of fatigue makes sense. But what if you're feeling exhausted for no reason? What if you wake up drained even after a full night's sleep? Or if walking up a short flight of stairs suddenly feels like climbing a mountain? That's not just aging, it's a sign that something deeper might be going on. Unexplained fatigue can be one of the earliest warning signs of serious conditions like heart disease, anemia, thyroid issues, or even cancer. Many people don't realize that heart problems don't always start with chest pain. In fact, for older adults, especially women, fatigue is often the first symptom of an impending heart attack. The body struggles to pump blood efficiently, leaving you feeling drained. So what can you do? First, pay attention to the pattern. Is this fatigue something new? Is it worse than usual? If you feel like your energy is suddenly dropping for no clear reason, don't brush it off. Check in with your doctor. A simple blood test can check your heart, iron levels, and thyroid function. Catching the issue early could prevent something much more serious down the line. Now, let's talk about something that people often ignore until it's too late. Sudden dizziness or loss of balance. Picture this. You're standing up from your chair and for a split second, the room spins. Or maybe you're walking in the kitchen, and you suddenly feel unsteady, like your legs aren't quite listening to you. Dizziness happens to everyone now and then, right? Maybe you got up too fast. Maybe you're a little dehydrated. But frequent, unexplained dizziness is a red flag. It could be a sign of low blood pressure, inner ear problems, or even the early stages of a stroke. Many people assume strokes happen suddenly, but sometimes the symptoms build up over time. Feeling lightheaded, off balance, or struggling to coordinate your movements can be an early warning sign. If this happens to you more than once, don't dismiss it. A good way to test if dizziness is something serious? Try this. Sit down, take a deep breath, and focus on a fixed point. If the dizziness lingers or if you feel weak or confused, it's time to call your doctor. And if dizziness ever comes with slurred speech, numbness, or difficulty seeing, don't wait. Call emergency services immediately. Now, we've covered fatigue and dizziness, but there's another silent symptom that often gets overlooked: unexpected weight loss. And no, we're not talking about trying to lose a few pounds on purpose. We're talking about losing weight without trying at all. Have you noticed your clothes feeling looser, even though your diet hasn't changed? Or maybe you've been eating the same amount but still seem to be dropping pounds. If you've lost more than 5% of your body weight in a short time without explanation, that's something to take seriously. Unexplained weight loss can be a warning sign of diabetes, thyroid disease, or even cancer. In some cases, it's linked to muscle loss, which can weaken your body and make daily activities much harder. The key is to act fast. If you notice a drop in weight, check your appetite, energy levels, and any other symptoms. The sooner you investigate, the sooner you can address the underlying issue and keep yourself healthy. So far, we've talked about sudden fatigue, dizziness, and unexplained weight loss. 3 symptoms that often get ignored but could be warning signs of serious health issues. Now, let's move on to something that many people brush off as just a minor annoyance: shortness of breath. Have you ever found yourself feeling winded after doing something that never used to be a problem? Maybe you're walking through the grocery store and suddenly need to stop and catch your breath. Or perhaps you're lying in bed and feel like you can't quite get a full, deep breath. It might seem harmless at first, but this is not something to take lightly. Shortness of breath can be a major warning sign of heart disease, especially heart failure. When the heart isn't pumping blood effectively, fluid can build up in the lungs, making it harder to breathe. It's a slow process, and many people don't realize something's wrong until the condition has already progressed. Another potential cause? Lung disease. Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, and even early-stage lung cancer can cause shortness of breath long before other symptoms appear. And here's something many people don't realize: shortness of breath can also be a sign of a silent heart attack, one that happens without the crushing chest pain we usually associate with heart attacks. If you notice yourself getting winded easily, pay attention. Is it getting worse over time? Does it happen when you're lying down but feel better when you sit up? Are you also experiencing swelling in your feet or ankles? If so, don't wait, talk to a doctor. A simple checkup could reveal an underlying heart or lung issue before it turns into something life-threatening. Now, let's talk about something that people often feel too embarrassed to mention: persistent digestive issues. We all have the occasional stomachache, bloating, or irregularity. But if you've been experiencing ongoing digestive problems, it could be more than just a sensitive stomach. Changes in bowel habits, especially if they're new or getting worse, could be an early warning sign of colon cancer. Many people assume that colon cancer only affects younger people or those with a strong family history. But the reality is, it's one of the most common cancers in older adults. Symptoms like persistent constipation, diarrhea, or unexplained stomach pain shouldn't be ignored, especially if they last for weeks. And here's something that might surprise you: sudden difficulty swallowing could also be a warning sign. If food feels like it's getting stuck in your throat, or if you're experiencing unexplained acid reflux, it could be a sign of esophageal cancer. One of the biggest mistakes people make? Ignoring blood in their stool. Even if it's just a little and happens only once, don't assume it's harmless. Bright red blood could indicate hemorrhoids, but darker blood or black, tarry stools could be a sign of internal bleeding. And that's not something you want to wait on. The good news? Most digestive issues are treatable, especially if caught early. The key is to listen to your body and take action when something feels off. A simple screening test could save your life. Now that we've covered shortness of breath and digestive issues, let's dive into something that affects not just your body but also your mind. We've already talked about sudden fatigue, dizziness, unexplained weight loss, shortness of breath, and persistent digestive issues, symptoms that often get dismissed but could signal something serious. Now, let's shift our focus to something that's just as important, yet often overlooked: changes in your thinking and memory. Have you ever walked into a room and completely forgotten why you were there? Or maybe you've misplaced your keys, struggled to remember a name, or found yourself searching for words mid-sentence. Occasional forgetfulness is normal, especially as we age. But when these lapses become more frequent or start interfering with daily life, it's time to pay attention. Memory problems can be one of the earliest signs of dementia, including Alzheimer's disease. But here's something many people don't realize: sudden confusion or trouble thinking clearly could also be a symptom of something else entirely. It might be a sign of a stroke, a vitamin B12 deficiency, or even a urinary tract infection (UTI). Yes, you heard that right. UTIs in older adults don't always cause the usual burning sensation. Instead, they can trigger confusion, mood swings, and even hallucinations. Another major red flag? A sudden change in personality. If someone who was always patient and easygoing suddenly becomes irritable, withdrawn, or even aggressive, it could be more than just a bad mood. Certain health conditions, like thyroid disorders or even untreated depression, can cause dramatic shifts in behavior. And speaking of changes, pay close attention to sudden mood swings or feelings of intense sadness or hopelessness. Depression isn't just about feeling down. In older adults, it can show up as fatigue, sleep disturbances, loss of interest in hobbies, or even unexplained aches and pains. It's easy to dismiss these things as just part of getting older, but they're not. Depression is a medical condition, not a normal part of aging. So, how do you know when to be concerned? If you, or someone you love, are struggling with persistent forgetfulness, confusion, or mood changes, don't ignore it. Early intervention can make a world of difference. There are medications, therapies, and lifestyle changes that can help slow down cognitive decline and improve quality of life. Now, let's talk about one final symptom, one that's often shrugged off but could be one of the most dangerous of all. Unexplained pain. Pain is tricky, isn't it? By the time we reach our 70s, we've learned to live with it in some form. A stiff back in the morning, sore knees after a long walk, or aching joints when the weather changes, it's just part of life, right? But here's what many people don't realize: certain types of pain should never be ignored. Let's start with chest pain. It's the classic heart attack warning sign, but not everyone experiences it the same way. Some people feel a crushing pain in their chest, while others describe it as pressure, squeezing, or even a dull ache. And for older adults, especially women, the signs can be much more subtle. Pain in the jaw, upper back, shoulders, or even nausea and cold sweats could signal a heart attack. If you ever feel a strange discomfort in your chest or upper body that just doesn't seem right, don't wait. Call for help immediately. Then there's pain that radiates down the leg, a sharp, burning, or tingling sensation. You might think it's just a pinched nerve, but it could be a sign of a blood clot deep in your veins. This is called deep vein thrombosis, DVT, and it's especially dangerous because if the clot travels to your lungs, it can cause a life-threatening pulmonary embolism. Look for swelling, warmth, or redness in one leg. It's a sign to get checked right away. Another pain that often gets dismissed? Sudden, severe headaches. If you experience the worst headache of your life, out of nowhere, it could be a sign of a brain aneurysm or stroke. And remember, strokes don't always cause pain. Sometimes the only symptom is sudden weakness, trouble speaking, or vision changes. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Acting fast can be the difference between recovery and long-term damage. And finally, let's talk about persistent pain that has no obvious cause. If you have ongoing pain in your stomach, back, or bones that doesn't go away or keeps getting worse, it could be a sign of something serious, like cancer or an undiagnosed illness. The key is to listen to your body. If something feels wrong, don't wait. Early detection saves lives. So what's the biggest takeaway here? Your body is always talking to you, you just have to listen. Some symptoms might seem small, but they can be warning signs of something serious. The good news? Taking action early can make all the difference. If you ever feel unsure about a symptom, trust your gut and get checked. It's always better to be safe than sorry. If this video helped you, don't forget to hit that like button. It really supports the channel. And if you want more health tips to stay strong and independent as you age, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, your best years are still ahead of you.